Hello everyone, I'm War. This was a short week because there was a holiday where I live and because of some personal stuff. But what I did this week was I got to work on the usage of items, so having an item as I explained in the last video, you can have a gun, for example, and you can throw it, but you can also use it. And the usage of a gun and the usage of a, let's say, a crowbar are two very different uses. You cannot shoot a crowbar. So I got to work on that, and I created two excuse me, I created two kinds of items, so types of items, where one is a ranged weapon, so it's an item that will shoot stuff, and the other is a melee weapon, so it's an item that will hit stuff without you having to throw it. Both items can still be thrown, so it's still the same there, but now I created a gun which is able to shoot. There is a different hotkey or keybind for it, and it requires ammunition, so I created a magazine item that reloads the gun, and you can pick up the gun and then pick up the magazine, or you can pick up the magazine and then pick up the gun. It doesn't matter the sequence in which you pick the items up, they will work just fine. I also created a crowbar. Oh, I forgot. The gun shoots. That's working. I also created the crowbar, which it's a melee attack. So in the finished game, it will be used to take down enemies. Currently, it just returns a little print that says that it hit something, but it works. Then I had the holiday. Which was, I don't remember, I think something about a day of mourning, like mourning the dead. Cool, you know. And then, oh, sorry, I'm looking at my notes here. And then I finally got to start working on the main mechanic, the shadow system. And it was strangely very fun and very straightforward to make. I started by creating, or better, coding a way to store inputs and get those inputs when certain buttons are pressed, of course, but I couldn't go with literal inputs, so I couldn't go with a mouse click because that would require some weird mechanics to work and would end up in a worse product by the end. So what I did was I created a system that whenever I press something, what is recorded is the action and not the input. So if I press my right mouse button, what is recorded is I threw something, and that recording is sent to a list with paired with the time that it took to press that button, to press that action. And then, when the shadows are created, the lists themselves are paired with a shadow, so that shadow will replicate all inputs. Mostly, that's planning now, but what I got working is the movement. Replication, so the input recording and replication is on 100% working. give it or take a few bugs, but nothing major. The shadows are able to record and replicate movement, so walking side to side, jumping, moving while jumping, and sneaking. Currently, that's all I made for it. Next week, I'm going to start work on the actions. And when you're hearing this, I already got the actions done, because I record this voiceovers basically a week after the videos were recorded. A little weird to understand, but it's very simple. And that was it. What can I say? The abstraction of inputs was very fun to do. So basically, whenever an input is thrown into a certain bit of code, it will return an action, of course. But because you can move as a player and a shadow can move by itself, even though they're supposed to move in the exact same way, I had to abstract some things. So player movement and player actions, they are based on inherited methods. So the shadows are based on the same. Even though they don't use inputs, they move themselves. They are autonomous. And what this means is any changes made to movement or actions are going to take effect in both shadows and the player. So I don't have to worry about having to change something in one and then remembering to change it in another. So that's fun. That helps a lot. And that's mostly it for this week. Next week I'll have the actions done, and I'll start working maybe on a little bit of art, some animations maybe, or the enemy AI, mostly one of those. But that's it. Thank you for watching and for following along with the development of my project. I'm War. You can follow me on Twitter for daily updates. I post there almost every day, and you can also just follow me to see what I have to say. Sometimes I just say things, and that's cool. You can join the Discord server to get a bit more personal chatting experience. I usually answer every comment, but there you can ask more on a more person-to-person basis. And that's it. Our links are in the description. Next week we'll talk again. Until then.